Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com, and we are here today with lesson number 8 in our incredible new tutorial series where you are going to learn artificial intelligence on the Jetson Nano. What I will need you to do is pour yourself a most large mug of iced coffee, and I will need you to get out your Jetson Nano gear and get it all booted up. If you haven't gotten your gear yet, look at the links down in the description. I show you the hardware. You can get it there on Amazon and get exactly the same hardware that I'm using. And while you're getting your gear up and booted up, I want to take a second to thank you guys, give a shout out to you guys who are supporting me over on Patreon. Really appreciate it. It's a huge encouragement to me to have you guys actually be a part of this channel. So really appreciate it. If you aren't helping out yet, think about hooking a brother up. There's a link to my Patreon account down in the description to this video. But enough of this nonsense where I talk about my Patreon account. Let's get in and let's start learning something good today. What we are going to do today is we are going to install a really nice Python integrated development environment. Now, we've done 2 or 3 lessons already on Python, and what we have done so far is to use the text editor Nano and to just edit a text file to create a Python program and then run that text file. It's good to know how to do that old school, but now as we're going to start moving to more sophisticated programs, you need a good integrated development environment. Now, the integrated development environment that I like to use on the PC is PyCharm, and it does all types of cool stuff, but I was unable to get PyCharm to work correctly on the Jetson Nano. It just wants to create these virtual environments, and then those virtual environments tend to kind of mess up the operating system image that we got from NVIDIA. And so what I found is it's just better not to use PyCharm. What we are going to use is known as Code OSS or Visual Studio Code. The kind of long name is Visual Studio Code. So it's almost identical to PyCharm, but it runs under just the default installation of Python, so it doesn't goof up the way that that operating system image is configured. And I really think this is the best way to do it, and I really suggest if you're going to follow these tutorials that you play along with me using the same operating system and the same development environment that I'm using. Okay, let's see how we do this. I probably need to get out of your way here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to have you open up a Linux terminal. And let me move this around a little bit where I can optimize your view so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, now we want to install Code OSS, and we're going to get it configured in today's lesson. But to start with, what we are going to need is we're going to need a helper program that will allow us to do that. And for that helper program to work, we have to make sure that you are all updated. So I need you to do a sudo apt-get update just to make sure that you're up to where I am. We see that like that command, it's going out and it is getting everything updated. I've updated it recently, so it shouldn't take too long. There we are. I also need to make sure you can see the bottom of my screen. Okay. There, I think you can see that real well now. Okay, so our system is updated. Now, if I do an ls, you can see that I am in my home directory. To get there, remember you can do a cd space. What's the shortcut to the home directory? The squiggly. So if I go cd space squiggly, that'll get you there. And then if we do an ls, you can see that there is a downloads folder. So we're going to want to go down into that cd downloads. All right, and now we are in downloads and that is empty. Okay, now we got to get a program now that will help us install Visual Studio Code, and that helper program is curl. So we need to go get curl. So we're going to say sudo apt-get install curl. Boom, it looks like it's finding it. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Okay, this will probably just take a couple of minutes to get downloaded. And since you're having to wait and I'm having to wait, we might as well chat. I don't like to pause the video and restart and pause and restart. Hey man, if we're waiting, we might as well chat as we are waiting for this. That was pretty quick. It looks like curl is working. Okay. Now, you guys know how I always tell you never copy and paste what I'm doing and just always type the commands and type the things yourself so that you will understand. I'm going to give you a reprieve on this one command, and if you will look down in the description down below, in the description of this video, right below the link to my Patreon account, right in the next section, I'm going to put this command because I don't want you to try to be a hero and actually type this in yourself. And so you can get this in the description. It's curl-l space HTTPS. Then it goes to the GitHub, and then it has a really long file name. And then the -o means output it to code OSS 1.32.3-ARM64-deb. I don't think any mere mortal could type that in without making a mistake. And so you can copy and paste that from the description, paste it, and then hit enter. And let's see, I thought I hit enter. Let me try again. Maybe I hit shift. Oh, there it goes. Boom. It looks like magic is happening, and it is getting curl installed there for us. Okay, we'll give it a second here. All right, so let me kind of tell you where we're going with this channel. We're going to get our really cool, slick, integrated development environment installed today. We're going to do a little bit to tweak it and get it configured where it looks really good, and then we're going to kind of get it organized and ready to go. So that's what our goal is for today, is to get a good Python integrated development environment installed. And then where we're going to be going from here would be we're heading towards artificial intelligence. But the thing to understand is artificial intelligence is really about dealing with very large data sets. And a lot of these data sets are in the form of arrays. And so if you think about a picture is a huge two-dimensional array where you have lots of columns and lots of rows. And then each position, row, column, position, has three numbers like red strength, green strength, and blue strength. And so a picture is just a massive array. So we've got to get good at dealing with arrays. And then also we've got to get where we can look at pictures. Where we can look at data. So we're gathering all this data, and the data is typically these huge matrices. And you can't just do a print and print out like an array that's two-dimensional with thousands and thousands of data points. It means nothing. So we've got to be able to plot data. So what we're going to do in the next lesson is we're going to install matplotlib, which is a graphing program that will allow us to look at data, and NumPy, which is a library that allows us to deal with arrays. So in the next lesson, we're going to install and kind of get comfortable with NumPy and Matplotlib, and that'll be the tools that we need to deal with very large data sets. After that, what we are going to do is we are then going to go in and install OpenCV. And OpenCV is the package where we will actually start doing the artificial intelligence. I'll tell you guys, I am really excited because I'm kind of like working ahead, and the things that I'm getting the Jetson Nano to do are quite exciting. So I really look forward to it. But it looks like our program has installed, so we've got the curl going. And now what we need to do is we need to type the command. So your one command reprieve is over for copying and pasting. You're going to go back and start typing things in yourself now. So you're going to say sudo dpkg, -i, and then code OSS _1. Okay, so sudo dpkg space -i space code dash OSS _1.32.3 dash ARM64.deb. Okay, that's kind of like the last part of that last curl command that we gave. Okay, so that's sudo space dpkg space -i space code dash OSS _1.32.3 dash ARM64-DEB. Hold your breath. Hey, looks like it is installing. Okay, we're having a little success here. We are installing Code OSS. That is really slick. Okay, so like I say, we're going to get this up and running today, and then we are vectoring very quickly towards the OpenCV, which is where the magic really happens. Okay, it looks like that installed. Now this is how we can see if it actually installed. We can type, let's see. I'm going to come up here to the little start menu in the upper right, and let's see if it can find code. Okay, there it is, Code OSS. You see that? I'm going to grab that icon and I'm going to pull it over and I'm going to put it here in my start menu. Okay, and now I should be able to just start it with this little blue icon. Did you see that? I can start it now with the little blue icon. Now you can start it by just putting code-oss and do it from the command line. But since this is a program we're going to be doing a lot, I am going to go ahead and I am going to start it from here. So we're going to need to hold our breath. Is it going to run? Yeah, it looks like it's going to open up, and this is actually very exciting. Okay, so we got this thing open up. Now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to configure it, and I'm going to try to get a nice view for you guys here. That looks really good. Okay, let's see, let me show you one thing. Do you guys have these icons? Do you have this menu bar here at the top of your windows? I'm not sure if I showed you how to do this. Your menu bars might be up here. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to come to Setup. I might have to hunt for it a little bit, but let me look at Appearance and let me look at Behavior. Okay, show the menus for a window in the Windows title bar and always displayed. Do you see how I have that? Let me show you that again. So we're going to come to Settings, System Settings there. Then we're going to go to Appearance, and then we're going to go to Behavior, and you want the menus for a window in the Windows title bar and always displayed. Okay, because I find it very confusing when they kind of have them hidden up here, and sometimes I find myself searching for them. So I just wanted to do that so yours looks exactly the way mine does and you guys won't get confused. Okay, so now what we need is we need to create a folder where we're going to keep all of our Python files, and within this folder we can have different folders for different types of programs, but we need to we need to start by creating that folder on the desktop. So I'm going to right mouse click. You don't have to put it on the desktop, but an important folder like this, I am going to put it on the desktop. So I right mouse click and I say New Folder, and then I am going to call it Pi Pro for Pi Programs, and I'm going to say Create. Okay, and there we've got Pi Pro. Now I'm going to come back to my Visual Studio Code, and I am going to open up that folder. So everything is going to happen in that folder. So I'm going to come to File, and then I am going to say Open the folder. And then I'm going to go to Desktop, and there's my Pi Pro folder. And then I'm going to come down. I might need to get out of your way a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to come down, and I am going to say, click on Pi Pro and click OK. All right, now you see it's going out and thinking and churning. And now here is my Pi Pro folder over here. Now, in case you don't see this exactly, you can get to the File Explorer by clicking this upper left, right? So if you're like this, you come to the upper left, and now I've got a little navigator view where I can keep things organized. Like here's my Pi Pro folder. I can click on it. You can see it's empty. That's okay because we are just getting started. So all right, we've got a window where we're going to keep all of our programs. You also notice there's a little plus here, so I could say plus, and I could add a program here if I wanted to. Okay, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves there. The next thing I want to do is I want to set this up for Python. So come over to this little extensions icon. Do you see this? Come over there and click on it. Okay, and now it's asking me to search on something, so I want to search on Python. Okay, and then if you look at the first response that I get back, it says Python 2019, and then it says linting, debugging, and all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to say install there. Okay. If I come over here, it is thinking. You got to give it a second, like you can see up here how it's sort of scrolling across there. We'll give it a chance to get completely installed. It's still saying installing. Okay, that installed successfully. Good. We are moving right along. Okay, I'm going to go back to this slightly better view. And okay, I have got my Python where it knows that I'm going to be wanting to run Python. I think I'll come back and click on the File Explorer again to take me back to the File Explorer view. Then this Extensions Python tab, do you see how it's a tab? I'm going to go ahead and close that because I have done the installation. So I'm going to close that tab. All right. Now, if you look here and it says Show All Commands, how do we show all commands? It's Control and Shift and P at the same time. So I want to go Control, Shift, and P all at the same time. And now I can put in the command that I want to look for, and it is select space interpreter. Select interpreter. Okay, so you see how it found this command, Python select interpreter. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and scared me a little bit because it didn't jump right up, but this is really, really important. We want to be operating on Python 3.6.8 64-bit, so I'm going to click on that one. Okay, and that looks like it took that, so that looks really good. Okay, couple of things now. For me, this is not very readable. I want something a little bit higher contrast, so I'm going to come up to File. Okay, I'm going to click on File here, and then I'm going to look at Preferences, and under Preferences there's a color theme. Okay, and I'm going to come to the let's see, there's two lights here. I'm going to look at Visual Studio Light. Okay, and that looks I'm going to look at the other one. That's still a little low contrast, so I'm going to come to Preferences and Color Theme, and I'm going to try Light Plus, which is Light Default. Okay, those look about the same, but that to me is going to be a lot more readable. Now, one of the problems that we have here is we're going to have the font is too small for you guys to see. So if I'm banging it out here, and you guys can play around with the style that you want, come back to Preferences and look at the color theme, and you can see there's a lot of different color themes, and you can pick the one that you like. But the thing for me is a lot of these are low contrast, and for it to be easy for you to watch me do, I want to set it to a high contrast one. So I'm going to come to File, and then I'm going to come to Preferences and Color Theme, and I'm going to go back to this. I just can't. I'm going to try this one, Quiet Light, and see what that is. No, they're all about the same. So I'm going to put it on Color Theme and just the Light Visual Studio, and I think that'll work. Now, the other problem that you're going to see here is that you notice over there the fonts are small, so I need to make the fonts larger where you can see it well. So I'm going to come to Preferences, and here I'm just going to go to Settings. Okay, and then on the text editor, I'm going to come down and let's see, I'm going to click on Font here, and you see how the font is 14. I'm going to go ahead and set that at about 24, and then let's see if I need to click OK anywhere. No, it looks like it'll just take it. Okay, and then I'm going to close this. And I think now I should have a big font when I open this up. If not, we will fix it. Okay, so now we should have this thing ready to go. And remember, we're going to be working inside of PyPro. So I can click here for a new file, or hey, I could do a new folder. I think I will I think I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder. And so I'm just going to say basics, because we can kind of put our basic work in here, and then later like we'll have one for OpenCV. And so now I'm going to click enter, and let's see, I've got a folder called basic, and now I want to work inside of basic, so I am going to right mouse click on basic, and now I am going to say right mouse click on basic, and I want a new file, and now I'm going to say hello world. And remember, the subscript is important, or the extension is important, so we're going to put hello world.py for Python. Okay. And now I'm going to click enter. All right, and now look over here. I am now here. Okay, it says linter pylint is not installed. And so that is kind of a nice one. So let's go ahead and click install there. Okay. Okay, don't worry about it right now because we don't really need that. So let's just kill that. What it's saying is it's saying that pip isn't installed, and we're not going to use pip right now, and so we are just going to go without linter, and that is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So here we are in Hello World, and so we are going to say print, open, and then we're going to say Hello World. Okay. And so we have a one-line program. And now if I just come over here and I say right mouse click, you come down to run Python in terminal. Okay, look at that. And it says hello world. Also, if you look at this, you notice how it says user/bin/python3. That's really good news because that is saying that we are running on Python 3, and so that is really good. And you notice that we got the hello world. Boom. So we are up and running, and now we have got a nice development environment in which to work. Let me get this exactly where you can see it. We've got a nice development environment in which to work. We've got it configured pretty well. We've got a pretty good color scheme. So that really looks good. Okay, let's just do a quick program here. Let's see, let's come over in the basics and say new file. And this time, let's say user input.py, user input.py. PYY, okay. Now notice how we can have two programs open at once. I've got the hello world, and I can come over here to user input, and I could say my num is equal to int, and int of what I want to make an integer of my input, and then I'm going to say please. Now notice how when I did the open parentheses, it all automatically closed it for me. Also notice when I did the open quote, it automatically closed it for me. So it's kind of helping me keep the parentheses and the quotes matching. So please input a number, and then that and that. Okay, and now I can just right arrow and then enter, and then I'm going to say for I in range. Do you see how it's trying to kind of help me type here? Okay, and then I'm going to go open, and I'll say start at 0, go to my num, and then go in steps of 1. And then I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to put my colon for the start of my for loop. Notice how, unlike Nano, it comes back and automatically gives me the tab. And then I'm going to say print, and I will say print I. And then now I want to unindent, so I just hit a backspace, and it takes that out, so I'm out of the for loop, and now I'll say print. That's all, folks. Like that. All right. And you got to remember that it closes that quote for you, and it closes the parentheses for you, so don't add an extra one. You got to kind of get used to that. All right. Now, how do we... Okay, now this business is getting annoying, so I'm going to come down here where it's grabbing at me about linter not being installed. I'm going to say do not show again. If we need pip installed later, I'll install it, but for right now, don't do it, because again, we don't want to get our working environment goofed up, and so a lot of the stuff we won't be installing with pip. So I'm not going to install pip. So I'm going to say do not show again. Okay, so now how do we run the program? We right mouse click and then we say run Python file in terminal. Okay, ooh, I see, I didn't close this out. Right, erase the one that did close it out. Oh, look at this, I see what I did. I really messed it up. Did you guys see that? Right, now everything should be balanced. Control X. That's not a Control X, man. Let me try one more time. Yeah, Control X, I was trying to nano, close the nano. Okay, so now I will say print, open parentheses, open quotes, it closed them for me. That's all, folks. And exclamation, forward over that. Now, what do? I right mouse click and I say run Python file in terminal. Please enter a number. Now you got to make sure, like if I just type a number, it's going to do an edit. So you got to make sure that before you type something, you come down and click here so that it gets your input. Please input a number. I'll say 23. And then look at that. It counts from 0 all the way to 22. And remember, that's that business about how range always stops one before the number that you put in there. And so it gave you 23 numbers, but it starts with 0 and goes to 22, which is 23 numbers. We've talked about that a lot. Just get it in your head that with range, it stops one before the number that you put in there. Okay, guys, we have written a couple of programs that is really, really slick. We have our integrated development environment up and running. We are working overall inside of our Pipe Pro folder, and as we're playing around, we are working in the basic folder, and then later, like when we get to OpenCV, we will do that. Okay, I just kind of want to play around here for a second, and let's just see, kind of thinking towards the future. Let's come up with a let me just look up here. I want to see, do we even have any NumPy at all installed? If I say import NumPy as NP. I don't think that it comes with NumPy as configured in Python 3, but let's right mouse click and say run Python file in terminal. Okay, yeah, you see NumPy is not installed, and so we'll have to do that next week. Next week we're going to install Matplotlib and we're going to install NumPy, and next week we're going to start working with arrays, like how do we deal with array data using NumPy, and then how do we plot it using Matplotlib. So next week, Matplotlib install, NumPy install, and get familiar with those two programs. That's what we'll do next week. And then the following week, we're going to install OpenCV. And OpenCV is the program that allows you to start doing artificial intelligence. And so 2 lessons from now, in 2 weeks, what we'll be doing is we'll be firing up the camera inside of OpenCV. We will be grabbing images from the camera, manipulating them, and doing all types of different stuff. Before we can do that, we got to do Matplotlib and NumPy. Hey, you guys, if you like this, think about giving us a thumbs up. Again, I really appreciate you helping me on Patreon. Link down below. Think about sharing this lesson with other people. Give me feedback. How is this going? Are you getting, some of you guys are getting impatient with me because I'm really showing you every step along the way, but I want you to learn this where you can do it yourself. The problem is when I go to the NVIDIA side or some of the other things, I'm just copying and pasting what they're doing, and I can do some cool demos, but I can't realize my own ideas. I'm teaching you so that you will be able to go out and write your own programs. Okay, really appreciate it. Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com. I will be talking to you guys later.